Once upon a time, in a sunny meadow, filled with bright wildflowers and tall, swaying grass, there lived a cheerful little bunny named Benny. Benny had soft, fluffy fur as white as the clouds and big ears that could hear even the slightest rustle in the wind. But what made Benny truly special was not just his bunny ears. It was his love for art. Benny was a little artist, and his burrow was like a treasure chest full of colorful paintings. Every morning, after nibbling on sweet carrots for breakfast, Benny would hop into his cozy burrow where he had set up a bright and inviting studio. The walls of Benny's burrow were decorated with beautiful portraits of his friends in the meadow. A wise old owl named Ollie, a playful squirrel named Sammy, and even a gentle deer named Daisy. Each portrait was filled with bright colors that seemed to dance around like butterflies in the sunlight. Benny would squeeze blobs of paint onto his little wooden palette, mixing dazzling shades of green, blue, yellow, and pink. With each stroke of his paintbrush, he made the world around him come alive. The field felt even more joyful with Benny's art hanging from the walls and scattered on the floor like flowers blooming everywhere. But one sunny day, as Benny was preparing to paint a new masterpiece, he heard a soft sniffle coming from outside his burrow. Curious as ever, Benny hopped up and peeked out. To his surprise, he found his friend Sammy the squirrel perched on a tree branch, looking very sad. "What's wrong, Sammy?" Benny asked, his voice gentle as a warm breeze. "I wanted to paint too, but I don't have any paints," Sammy replied, wiping a tear from his little eye with his paw. "I wish I could make pictures like you do." Benny's heart sank. He had so many paints and brushes, and he never thought about sharing them. "You can come inside and use mine," he exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. "We could paint together." Sammy's face brightened immediately. "Really? You mean it?" "Of course," Benny said as he led Sammy into his colorful burrow. The moment Sammy entered, he gasped in awe at the swirling colors that surrounded him. "Wow, it's beautiful in here." Benny smiled proudly. "Thank you. Now let's make some art together." He handed Sammy a small brush and showed him how to mix the colors to make a bright orange. They giggled and painted pictures of acorns, leaves, and majestic mountains. But as they painted, Benny felt a small pinch of worry in his heart. He wanted his burrow to be the brightest and the most beautiful, filled only with his special masterpieces. What if Sammy's paintings were better than his? Benny tried to shake off the feeling. After all, this was their first time painting together. Yet, as Sammy painted, using a splash of purple to create a big, whimsical tree, Benny couldn't help but feel jealous. "Why don't you try painting a bunny, Sammy?" Benny suggested, trying to hide his unease. Sammy nodded eagerly. "Okay, I'll paint you." He began to sketch a small bunny with puffy cheeks and big ears just like Benny's. As Sammy painted, Benny watched. "You're really good at this," he said, even though he was feeling a little odd inside. But Sammy didn't seem to notice. He was focused and happy, and that made Benny feel a bit better. After some time, both of their canvases were filled with lively colors. Benny painted a radiant sunset over a field of flowers, while Sammy painted his funny bunny friend, looking playful and curious. Just then, a gentle breeze blew through the open burrow entrance. The wind swirled around them, lifting the fresh scents of the meadow inside and bringing a sense of joy. Benny looked at Sammy's artwork and then at his own. "Hey, Sammy," Benny started hesitantly, "your painting is really nice. I wish I had asked you to paint with me sooner." Sammy's eyes sparkled. "Thanks, Benny. I love painting with you." Suddenly, Benny understood. It wasn't about whose paintbrush made the prettiest picture. It was about sharing those moments with friends. His heart swelled with happiness. He felt proud not just of his creation, but also the fun they had together. With newfound excitement, they decided to keep painting every afternoon. Benny learned how to blend colors even better, and Sammy discovered how to paint flowers just like Benny did. Soon, their burrow overflowed with art, each piece more colorful and beautiful than the last. As summer turned to autumn, Benny and Sammy picked colorful leaves and pressed them onto their canvas, creating an art piece that looked like a warm hug from nature. The laughter and joy filled the burrow, and they became the best of friends. One day, as they admired their colorful collection, a gentle breeze brought the news that Ollie the owl was hosting a great community art exhibition in the meadow. Benny's heart raced with excitement and a little bit of fear. They could display their paintings for everyone to see. Sammy sensed Benny's worry. "What if everyone thinks mine is prettier than yours?" Benny said shyly. Sammy thought for a moment and replied, "But they're both special. We created them together with love, and that makes them beautiful." With Sammy's encouraging words, it dawned on Benny that beauty is not about being the best. It's about creativity and friendship. They packed their favorite pieces and hopped over to the big oak tree where the exhibition was held. When the other woodland creatures arrived, they marveled at the colorful artwork. "Look at Benny's sunset and Sammy's lovely bunny," squeaked Lucy the mouse, delighted. The meadow was filled with chatter and laughter as all the animals admired their creations. That day, Benny felt happier than he ever had. He stood proudly beside Sammy, and when they saw other friends sharing their artwork too, it filled their hearts with joy. They spent the entire day celebrating creativity and friendship. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the friends returned to their burrow. Benny looked around at their happy little home, brimming with color and warmth. "I'm so glad I shared my paints with you, Sammy. And I'm so glad you invited me to paint together." Sammy giggled. Benny realized how wonderful it felt to create something with a friend. He learned that sharing his art brought him and others so much joy, because art is meant to be enjoyed together. From that day on, Benny never hoarded his paints again. Instead, his burrow became a gathering place where all his friends could come and create beautiful pieces of art together. They laughed, shared stories, and encouraged one another, filling the meadow with their colorful imaginations. And the moral of the story, dear friends, is sharing what you have with others can create unforgettable memories and strengthen friendships. Creativity shines brighter when it is shared.